How are you guys doing again? So welcome again to the part 5 of this YouTube tutorial on my Medicare app. Please make sure that in case you have not subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel. There might be some background noise, like some in the background. I've actually realized that so the application that I use to record these videos consumes a lot of power in the machine. It actually makes it very hard to do some other operations as well when I'm actually doing this. So right now I'm exporting one of the videos into an MP4 so that I actually upload it into YouTube. But then that is what's really causing the like the machine is like really working on like utilizing most of its resources to its fullest just to make sure that it actually exports the video. So like I said, guys, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like I said, my goal is to hit 128 so far. I mean 500 so far. I only have 138 subscribers, so I really encourage you guys to go ahead and subscribe. In this YouTube tutorial, I'll be going through setting up the database. So guys, I would encourage you guys to check two things. One is go to github.com slash ogol254 slash so ogol254 slash Medicare. So uh, if you go to this repository, yes, you'll find like I've just managed to upload the code here. So guys, check this out. I only have 3 commits right now, but I've managed to upload the code. As you guys can see, the new thing I've done here is to upload modified. So I'm just setting up the app, error handlers, and the directory structure. So guys, make sure that you check this out. It's like super important that you understand what's going on. Another thing I want you guys to go ahead and check is setting up the database. So I don't know where it is. uh, yeah, so if you go to Postgres database connection part 2.1, you guys will understand what I'm basically doing here. So this tutorial is like one of its own. I'm just talking about how to create the database, most of these things. So take a read at this. You'll definitely understand what these things mean and how do they work. If I say I'm working with the database.config.ini file, what does it mean and how do I work with it? So it's like one of the most important things that you basically need to know how to work with. I don't know whether this makes perfect sense for you guys, but then you guys need to be able to understand how these things work. Okay, yeah, my case is for this case scenario, guys, to be honest, I'll be working with this. Yes, I'll be working with this. So I'll be copy pasting some of this code into my app. I don't want to use what I've previously used, so that you guys clearly understand why I'm doing these things and why I'm basically uh, using some other methodologies to do some of these codes. Okay, yeah, that's all. Let's dig in. So while digging in, I'm talking about databases here. So while digging in, let me just close the super expanded files, folders, and etc. I'm not working with API right now. So um, I don't know how to call this, but let me just come here. I'm still trying to figure out how to call this, but let me just say um, mhm. I'm still thinking how to call this, guys. uh, I'm still thinking how to call this. uh, Let me say we have uh, let me say we have new file inside app. Let's call this dbconfig.py. Then let's go to instance and have a file we call database .ini file. Okay, then I'll go back to my terminal, and I hope you guys can be able to see this. Let me clear this. I'll go to PSQL, Postgres, create database, Medicare. Oh geez. Okay, it's created the database Medicare test. Putting a database Medicare test. So I already have two databases, and I think that's all I wanted to do here. So I can actually quit and go back to my Medicare. Source env bin activate, very important. So I'm in my directory. Sorry, I didn't even notice I didn't pull up my microphone, but I hope you guys have been hearing me. Something else I want to put here. So when it comes to this, like I think I did mention that I'll be copy pasting some few stuff. Yes. So just know that this is not like a must. You don't have to go ahead and do what I've done here, guys. It's not like something a must that somebody has to force you to do. I'll just call this Medicare port. I'll call this 5432. I think my password is root. I'm not sure as well. So once I have this, I'll just save it up. Okay. Then I'll go to my dbconfig. So in dbconfig, I need to do import psychopg2. Then I'll have two things: connection. That takes in a URL. I don't know where this connection should take up a URL, but right now I can actually leave it that way. I'll have another thing, initdb. I'll have another thing, init test db. I'll have another thing, init let me call it destroy db. So after thinking for a while, the methodology I want to use for connection will not be able to work for us. Reason being, it's so, can I put it so, it's much more of I think it's much more of a thing that requires a lot of work to be able to understand, and it will be very hard for us to build with something that's much more scalable. But I love the fact that you can actually console log its errors. Part of the features that I wanted inside this app is to use Sentry to log errors. So I might be able to come back into it later on, but for now, guys, I'm sorry, but allow me to remove it. Okay. So I'll just have this. I think I'll have new file called SQL tables.sql. So inside this is where I'll be writing all the queries for my tables. and you guys will be able to see how I'm gonna work with it. I think that said, I'm gonna import one of my recent projects. Actually, it's not even recent, so let me just say open. I don't even know where it is. um, I don't know where it is, honestly. Let me believe this is it. So I'm just gonna use this to try to, try to make sure that I have most of the things I want. The reason why this is very important and storing this is very important. For example, if I want to go ahead and have something like alt table, I just come and add that query here. Okay. If I go out the previous way, the way I did this, okay, the way I did this, so this particular way that I did this, where I was writing all the table queries in this format. Then right now this way, if I add a table here, like I add another column and the table already exists, it won't go ahead and create. So for me, if I alt, it means that I have to come here and add that specific query for alteration. But then in the SQL thing, I just put it there, and so it's like so automatic thing. So that is the reason why in some cases we recommend some other things, while in other cases we don't recommend some other things. So guys, that's one of the the main reasons. So that's one of the main reasons. So for purpose of formality, I'm gonna copy paste some few of these commands and just edit them up. I'll copy paste that. I'll bring them into this. I'll bring them into my SQL tables. Um, you guys might not be able to understand what I want to do with my tokens, but if you are there in my previous tutorial, you will understand. So I'll just need user ID. Unfortunately, user ID in this case will not be incremental. I don't want a user ID to, um, or maybe I think so. According to the design I had proposed, the user has to have a primary key. Um, this was to be a primary key, but then I'm just trying to figure out some other things, like other things have just come up to me. Maybe this can be incremental for us to know with the system database, um, or not. So it's not like super thing which is a must. Okay, so I can actually put this. I don't need the serial part of it. So we don't need username, guys. Um, Whichever thing, it can be character, but I don't want it to be characters file. Let me just call it integer. Okay, for now let me just leave it to be character, so that at least I'll be able to figure it out. Then I don't want to call it ID. It means that I'm going away with this. So I want to call this instead of username, I want to call it ID num. So ID num is ID number, the national ID number or the passport number. There is user type, user type, which is character varying. I don't know whether I need to have a default. I can add a default to be normal. Okay, so I can have a default to be normal. I think that's all for the user. So I just need to have the one for the incident. I'm also trying to imagine how to capture some other things, like case a scenario where somebody just comes and reports the incident. Um, so guys, sorry, there are some things that I need to copy paste here. Um, and even some of these things we're still gonna alter, guys. you'll you'll bear with me notice that even so right now we're only capturing the first name, last name. uh there are things that we have not like really captured here, things like so we have things we have not like really captured here, things like the address, tell, which is one cannot now, that's not null. I'm just trying to imagine what we need to capture about the user, so we need to come address, uh, okay. So this database is something super big, and guys, if you will like understand what I'm doing with this database, this is like a real world application. So I might be able to stop here, especially when it comes to designing this database, then come back later on when it's totally done, then show you guys what it's done. So the major part of what I need to go ahead and do is to come back here and do for you guys some few things. So even if it comes there, so there are some specific things that I'll also be copy pasting from here. So at least you guys understand what I'm doing. Okay. So for the init DB, um, um, whoa, okay, nice. So what this thing does is it takes in the database URL, it gets the current app configuration. So the current app configuration is very important. Whether it's when it's in running, it will take, if it's in development, it will take the app configurations for the database URL. If it's in, so this is very important. This is not important for us anymore. So um, this file is called SQL tables. SQL tables. Then it reads that file and executes each and every line, then return the connection. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Um, I think that's it so far. This they need DB. Um, so this one is for the test DB. Just want to make sure that you guys understand what it does. So this is destroy DB. Just to make sure that you guys understand what it does. The first thing, it gets the one for the test URL. Um, I'm still returning the connection there. Then now I need to come up with the one for destroying the connection. So this is also something I'm gonna copy paste. So destroying is only being done for the test, so it is not like something big. Then this one I'll have to bring it back and forth with what I basically see is happening. Okay, so it's like important to not like I need to be in a position that I'm able to list all my tables in. And so like right now I only have users and blacklist. So I have users and um, oh, okay. I've done something almost. I'm actually working on a wrong file. So right now I have users and blacklist. So I'll just come here, delete this up, then say blacklist. Um, so currently I only have users in blacklist. It's very important to know that. And here I'm taking in the connection, not the connect to. Indexing the test URL. Okay, I think this is most of it. So you can call this connection, text in a URL, then con is equals to psychopg2. I hope it's psychopg2. The last time I wrote these things, it was not working for me. Dot connect. What do I need? The URL. Just need to return the URL. Return the connection. Cool, that's it about the database. Like I said, I'll be working on some bunch of things for the tables, just figuring out how they really need to look like. The final code I'll push it to GitHub, so guys check out the final code at GitHub and that will be it. Okay, yeah, I'll also be pushing this code to GitHub. So like, oh sorry, I'm definitely repeating myself. I think I'm already freaking out the type of database I'll come up with, but just make sure that okay, this line will be a big line just to get you prepared. Yeah, so I'll also write a more description on what these tables are and what they basically do. So yeah, guys, that's all. The next thing I'll be doing in the next video, I don't know whether you need to start with the test, which is the same thing, which is the thing that I need to start with most of the time, which is okay. But even if I start with the test, I will not be able to record almost everything. So I'll just be able to code them in the background and come in and explain them, most of them to you. Meanwhile, have a good day. This is like the last tutorial for today. The next time we catch up, guys, will be tomorrow. Where I'll figure out what I'm going to do in the next tutorial. Whether it's just because we need to use TDD, so I'm most likely to write the test before I start the actual coding. That's all, guys. Have a good day and see you guys. Please subscribe and refer someone from this tutorial. Cool. I love you guys all. Subscribe, refer someone. Let's build this.